Hello, everyone. We are at the Tribal Council area, and we will be bringing you two back-to-back Tribal Councils. First up and about to file into the Tribal Council area is the new Grindel tribe. If you tuned into the live stream a few minutes ago, you saw that they were not able to even start the puzzle portion of the challenge, so they will be filing in first. They are coming on down the way here, filing into the dramatic drum music provided by our Journey's host, Declan, who, wow, why am I bad at doing the over-the-shoulder thing? Doesn't matter, because I'm going to flip this around so that we can see our lovely players who might not be as happy to see us at Tribal as we are to see them. All right, and approaching Tribal Council is New Grindel. We have Maya, Kevin R., Cam, Katie, Dan, and Bennett holding their tribe flag.
You can lay it down there. All right, Grindel, welcome back to everyone to Tribal Council. We'll start with an easy one, Bennett. Let's talk about the challenge. You know, it was seemed like, you know, you were at a little bit of a disadvantage being the last one to get to that wall, but obviously, you know, knocking the key off and not being able to get it. I mean, is that something that you're worried about right now?
Yeah, I would say. You should. I love the intense detail we had there. Yeah, it's definitely concerning. I mean, my inability to perform is the sole reason why we're here, and I definitely am like saddened by that in the sense that like, I may go home, but also like one of my tribe mates may go home to no fault of their own, and also just being a competitor that is difficult for me. But it is Survivor, and you got to like pick yourself up and try and adapt to the situation you put yourself in and put your best foot forward. And for me, I was like, hey, like I screwed up the challenge. Like I understand, like if I'm the person to vote out, but like if you throw me a bone here, like I'll remember it.
Okay, interesting. And in terms of like kind of how these discussions go, so these tribes are split 3-3, Kevin. Is it is that kind of how the discussions are going? We're trying to stick to those lines, or do you feel like it's way more fluid than what might be seen here?
I think it's a little bit more fluid because you have to talk about there were votes that happened before this. This isn't just the 12 people switched up and you've got 3 people who don't have anything in the past and 3 people who don't have anything in the past. It's also 4 tribes. So it's a little more detailed than that. So I think conversations were bouncing around all different places and yeah, we'll see.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, Katie. I mean, I think that brings up a good point. Of everyone has gone to tribal council. There are at least a few, stories to tell. How much of that was shared in this group here? I mean, are all the stories out? Does everyone know everything that happened at each tribal, or do you feel like things were kind of kept close to the chest?
I think a lot of things are out. There's no way to know for sure if everything is out. I at least am gaining some perspective, at least for the veteran tribals, and definitely wanted to fill Cam in on mine. But I think it's not the other tribal councils are not all that important. Especially because the rookies, we really didn't get to interact with them. Like they're just kind of like names and there's no real connection to it, at least from my perspective, but at least it's just interesting to gain the perspective of what the numbers might be, if we swapped again, if we merged, things like that.
Yeah. Dan, so I mean, to Katie, you're just a name at this point as a rookie. I know.
We bonded.
I know Katie meant the other rookies, but I mean that's a really good point though. I mean you've only been together for maybe 12 total hours. I mean, how do you go about building that bond so that ultimately this doesn't become some sort of 3-3 stalemate here?
Well, I think that we were really like we were supposedly like rookies and veterans, but we were really 4 tribes, and so there's a lot of different dynamics there than just being like rookies versus veterans. And so and there's weirdness on how votes go that you are a part of, and there's weirdness on how things go that you're not a part of, and like trying to figure out like how all those different angles work, and like just trying to move forward and whatever's going to work best for us, because like we are a tribe now. So
Okay. And yeah, I mean, I think Katie touched on it before in terms of looping you in, Cameron. I mean, if we look at the colors of your torches over here, I believe there's 2, 2, 1, and 1. And so when we talk about the 4 tribes, you're one of the ones. I mean, do you feel like you're coming into this as a disadvantage without an ally to bring, and that has left you kind of playing catch up here?
That was a little bit how I felt at first. Just looking and seeing the different color T-shirts, I was like, "Uh-oh." But I think that in this game, you have to be flexible and adaptable and like hear people out. And I was happy to meet the rookies and to re-meet the vets. And you gotta play the hand you're dealt. So like, let's do it.
Okay. And Maya, I mean, you're in a similar place to Cam, being the only one from your group of 6 here as well. I mean, do you feel like not having the bond with the other rookies or the vets that are here is putting you at a big disadvantage?
I definitely think it's a challenge. It would have been nice to have at least one other person that I've spent more time with, but it also just opens the gate for me to connect with other people, and I don't know, that's not always a bad thing. So
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I'll stick with you. I mean, the swap is kind of the time where sometimes you can switch from, maybe tribe strength to looking a lot further in the game. So do you feel like the conversations that were had are more focused on let's win the next challenge, or is it more focused on let's build a group that we're going to get towards the end with?
I think it was pretty equal. I think, and I don't think that any single person was thinking about only one or the other. I think we were all kind of thinking about both. And I don't know which way it's gonna go.
Okay. Kevin, um, last night you get to watch the initial kind of battle back competition and saw that Jorge and Alicia, both veterans, are the 2 left on No Man's Land. Is that something that you're factoring in as a rookie? Whether those are people, hey, maybe they've been scorned, you can bring in, or worried about that there's an additional veteran number out there potentially at some point. Is that something that you're factoring into kind of this vote out at all?
maybe. But decisions have been made, so no, I'm kidding. Yeah, it was not part of, to my knowledge, anybody's thought process, or at least verbally shared. So
interesting. And Bennett, I mean, in terms of titles or advantages, I mean, I've said this to everyone before. These are small groups. It can really change the dynamic of a group. Is that something that's been discussed? I mean, are you preparing for something like that?
I mean, I'm preparing as best I can with the knowledge that I have, but in all senses, that's limited. I had the absolute daylight scared out of me, and also a fuel of anger coming out of me when Katie had her advantage, because I thought I was going home. So I feel like I have a second chance, or like they had me right where they wanted me, and they just missed. So I feel like I have a second chance at life, and I feel like I'm a fool if I don't be a little more diligent in playing around advantages, but only so much you can do.
Yeah, that's fair. Based on what Bennett said, I think it's fair to assume that Katie, there's claims of you having played an advantage. Is that part of what you're trying to explain to this group to make sure they're with you?
100%. That's something I came really forthright about, mostly from the perspective of kind of the reason why I played it was I had it and I wanted to get rid of it. It wasn't so much, very, very strategic. It ended up being a huge move. So now I have this massive, I perceive to have a massive target on my back from it. But really just wanted to explain to everyone. Also, it's just a cool thing to share. So, you know, but you know, a feather in my cap. But I really wanted to let the group know when we were kind of sharing what happened to the votes and stuff, just from like the logic aspect, that it just was kind of like what Bennett said, the luck of the game, and you know, something to be aware of, but not so much of like something to really completely miss, but also don't focus on too much.
Yeah.
I kind of use the information to really build some trust of like, I'm telling you how I did it in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you share the you feel like you shared the full story to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, when you hear that sort of story from Katie, I mean, is that someone that you feel like is an open door to you and you're trying to work that area at all?
I mean, work it sounds so dirty, but like, yeah, like coming in, telling us something like that, which is like a major move and could theoretically like put a target on somebody. That's a huge show of trust, and like those are the kind of things that pivot us from being like just names to like being our own tribe and sort of like breaking those barriers down so we can work together.
Interesting. Okay, well, like Kevin said, there's a lot of variables at play here, so I'm not sure how this is going to shake out, but unless anyone has anything left to say, we'll get to the vote. All right, we're going to start with the left. We'll start with you, Maya.
All right, and players heading off to the voting booth. We are heading off as well. Going to quickly head on over to our little shady spot out of earshot where you and I can catch up together. This is your time to ask me any questions, and if I know, you will know, because I will answer them. All right, so we're just gonna come on over the bridge and head up to a little patch of shade that is away from everybody so that our tea time does not actually affect the game in any way. All right, we'll just get over to our spot and then I'll flip the camera around so we can have our little tea time together. All right, here looks like a good spot, so we'll just go ahead and flip ourselves around. And here I am. Hello. Hello, friends. Okay, so let's get into it. Kind of a lot to go over. So let's start with what we ended with at Tribal right before we came out. Katie was kind of called out about using her advantage idol yesterday by Bennett. Katie was trying to like lay low this round because she is credited with making a huge move and idling out Alicia at her last at their last tribal council yesterday. Katie is not trying to like push things in any particular direction, not wanting to be viewed as even a larger threat than she might already be, but she is kind of hoping that it's Bennett. I'm sure you're not shocked by that given the exchange we just saw. A friendly reminder that apparently after night one, Bennett and Katie were in a group together, and Bennett did not remember Katie's name. So that has stuck with Katie as a sort of clue to be like, hey, Bennett isn't my ally because he doesn't even know what my name is. So let's see, moving on over to Bennett. Bennett is hoping for a unanimous vote on Katie, but he does still feel like the relationship between them could be salvageable. From what we saw in Tribal Council, might not be feeling that way anymore, and I certainly don't think Katie is feeling that way. So, interesting. Let's see. All right. Sorry, we did a new format for tea time, and so I'm a little all over the place right now. Let's see. So, okay, Katie and Bennett are vets. Let's move on over to the third vet on this tribe, Cam, who is worried that he has no allies whatsoever. We heard him kind of talking about like, hey, this is the hand I've been dealt. We're working with it. Got a lot of head nods from Kevin R. Next to him and Dan in front of him. So it sounds like he might have more people than he thinks. Cam close, looking like maybe potentially close to Katie and Kevin R. Despite thinking he has no allies. So he might not be right about that. Speaking of allies, Dan is looking at those three vets and seeing that they do not appear to be together. That read seems right. He hears it's between Bennett and Katie. And Dan is feeling pretty close to Bennett and Cam. So Dan might be heading in the Katie direction. Moving on over to the rookies, we have Maya, who was discussed as the only OG Sagan yellow person on this tribe. She feels like it could be her as kind of like the easy vote since she's a single. She is thinking that maybe Kevin R and Cam are close, so she's kind of clocked that relationship, and she's nervous, so she's talking about maybe just voting where the majority of the votes are going, whether that be maybe Katie or maybe Bennett. Maya is also feeling close to Kevin R, but I'm not sure if he's feeling the same. Kevin R, another original rookie, feeling good about this swap. And if you'll remember, he also got the fundraising advantage. So his is still eligible to be played. Yesterday, day 2, it was an idol, which Katie played. Today, his fundraising advantage has transformed into a new advantage. So today, if he uses it, he is able to swap himself off his tribe and swap with another player so that he would go to another tribe and another player would come to his tribe. So he's feeling comfy, but if he suddenly feels like he's not, he can activate that advantage and fully intends to do so if that's what it takes. Let's see. Kevin is kind of between Maya and Bennett for the vote, leaning Maya to go. And is there anything else that's like a burning thing that you guys need to know? I don't think so. And then just a reminder that yesterday, Bennett kind of immediately spilled the tea to Cam about the Katie idol being used. So I'm not sure if that's established trash or like transfer that's messy. So we'll see. All right, we are heading on back and we will see what is about to happen shortly. Cam has the votes. Heading on back into Tribal Council, the first of 2 back-to-back tribals that will be here right now.
Okay, if anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. I'll get to the votes. First vote, Dan. Second vote, Maya. Third vote, Maya. Fourth vote, Maya. Fifth vote, and the next person voted out of Can You Survive? Maya. That's enough. Please bring me your vote. You should be the y'all. The y'all. Maya, the tribe has spoken.
All right, and we're going to follow Maya out of the Tribal Council area. We are still on the live feed. So Maya, we're just going to kind of head on over to this clearing to our left. And in a few moments, this will be your time to kind of just share any thoughts or feelings that you're having. Sorry, bug in my ear.
Oh man, I'm bummed. But yeah, they know what's good for them. They're getting rid of me. You know what I mean? That's a bummer. I definitely feel like I was going a little hard. So it is what it is. But cute. I don't know what else to say.
All right, so Maya, you made it all the way into the morning of day 3, 2 nights out here. That is no joke. You were a puzzle master for the most part, and challenges, lots to be proud of out here. I'd love to know if maybe there's one thing in particular that you are super proud of about your time out here.
So one thing that actually only like Dan knows is that on the yesterday morning, I woke up in like the middle of the night and threw up. And I'm a really big baby when I'm sick, so I was like, I don't know, I might call it. I had something very traumatic happen to me on Sunday before I came in, so I was like, mentally, physically, it's not going well. Maybe like, I don't know if I can do this. And I didn't throw up again, and I pushed through, and I made it another night, and I'll take this as an honor. It is what it is. It's cool.
Awesome. And did you maybe learn something about yourself during your time out here?
I guess, yeah, I'm stronger than I think I am. I don't give myself enough credit, and I should. I should give myself more credit.
You absolutely should. I completely agree. Well, Maya, before I let you go, you are playing for an incredibly worthy cause, so this is your chance to shout them out and let the viewers know who you're playing for.
Yeah, so shout out to You Can Play. Shout out to any queer athletes, any queer coaches or staff that works in the sports world. You are seen, you are heard, you have allies, we're with you, and I can't wait to see the sports industry change for the better.
Amazing. Well, Maya, you are not out of this game just yet. As you know, I will be handing you off to your handler, who will be taking you on over to No Man's Land.
Great. Let's go.
All right. Thank you so much, Maya.
Thanks.
All right, and away she goes, and we're going to be heading pretty much directly into our next tribal council. Getting some last minute cheers from our volunteers and production and some players from yesterday who are getting to look on. All right. And with that, our second tribal council is now going to be underway. This time we're going to be seeing the new Quadi tribe file in to the beat of this drums by Declan. All right, since they're far away, we'll give you a little tour of tribal council. Our theme is Tides of War this year, so we can see the war helmet and sword on this side and the buoy and anchor for tides on this side. And I'm obsessed with our new sign that Brandon made. I think it looks excellent. But I'm very biased because I'm obsessed with everything Brandon makes. So, all right, and here comes New Quadi approaching the tribal council area for their first vote as a new swap tribe. And coming on in, we have Meg M, Dylan, Jessica, Molly, Maya, and Ale holding the Quadi tribe banner.
Let me know.
Oh, you're over here.
Switch it up on you. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi.
Let's start with the challenge. We're going to talk, Dylan, talk me through that. I mean, you put yourself in the hero role, ultimately coming up just short. Is that something that was a huge topic of discussion, or is that kind of a non-factor as we go to actually pick this vote?
I would say from my no one talked to me if that was a factor. But I think that we did really well in the challenge, and we had a conversation about like how we wanted to go about it, and I think the fact that it came down to like 4 puzzle pieces is fucking brutal. But I think it's also like I think we all felt like we didn't
we didn't come out of it being like we lost. We kind of felt like we won. We just now have to go to tribal. So yeah, and it was our first time working together as a team, and that we were able to go as hard and as fast as we did is nice.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Molly, I mean, talk to me about kind of the vibe of, what's the criteria we're thinking of as a group here? Is it we need to make sure we're winning that next challenge? Is it hardcore line between rookies and vets right now? I mean, what was your interpretation of kind of some of the criteria on the vote?
To say, I think it's hard again because we're only judging this off of being here for one night together. While we did bond during the storm, I think now moving into a tribe swap, the lines could get blurred between rookies and vets, so it's hard to say.
Okay. Meg, can you talk about, so everyone here has been to tribal council at least once. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what information was shared within this group? Do you feel like everything's out on the table, or were people keeping stories kind of close to their chest?
We did have story time last night under the tarp. It was very enjoyable and entertaining. Definitely good information was shared on both sides. Do I know if it was all the good information? I do not. And I assume it wasn't all the good information.
Interesting. Do you feel like you could get a sense for potentially who was holding back? And is that factoring into your vote?
I didn't get a sense that anyone was holding back, but I'm just like figuring there's so much to download about. And honestly, we did just meet. Like, why show every single card you have?
Right. Yeah. Speaking of just meeting, not only are you just meeting the vets, but you're also the only one from your original rookie tribe. So you're at somewhat of a major disadvantage here. I mean, how can you really hit the ground running and make sure you're building those bonds here with this group of 6?
Thank you so much for pointing that out. Yes, obviously, I know on paper it looks like I'm not in greatest position, and honestly, I think all I can really do is talk to everybody and try to form bonds and show like my value to this tribe and to these people going forward. And that is what I tried to do today. I tried to talk to people and, let them know that if I stick around, that I am somebody that they can work with in the future, because that's personally, like, I've really enjoyed being on this tribe and I like everyone on it. And I'd like to continue to be on this tribe and work with everybody. So we shall see.
It's nice to hear. Maya, you're in the exact same situation, just potentially on the opposite side, being the lone vet from your group. I mean, are you relying on those potential connections you made night one, or do you feel like you needed to make bonds with everyone in this group?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice to see familiar faces again. But at the same time, we haven't had an opportunity to talk to any of the rookies yet. I mean, I got to talk with Dylan a bit when we did our little battle, but that was it. So I was really excited to just get to know people. And we did definitely bond over the storm, but I really feel like the best way to talk and get to know people was that one-on-one experience. So yeah, I really feel like I'm taking it as an opportunity to just get to know everybody.
Okay. And in your mind, do you feel like you're planning for surviving the next vote, or do you feel like you're trying to build a coalition that's going to go far in this group together?
Definitely want to build a coalition that wants to go far. I really feel like we all have such positive vibes together and like really want to stay together. And so, yeah, just really want to make sure going forward, we're still maintaining that cohesion.
Okay. And let's talk about No Man's Land. So you all get to watch the battle back kind of competition last night to see who the 2 remaining players on No Man's Land were. We saw that Jorge and Alicia, both vets, were able to survive. Allie, I don't think I'm speaking outside of school in that you were clearly potentially rooting for one side more than the other. Is that something you had to address with your group last night and make sure that they knew that you were here with them and not kind of with some other people?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I told them, like, I was very straightforward that I was rooting for Jorge. I told everyone, like, I voted with Jorge at the last tribal, in the minority, which is fine. But I was, like, when I was cheering, I turned to them, I was like, I'm rooting for Jorge. I'm just letting everyone know, like, he's someone, like, the people who did ask, like, I explained to them, like, Jorge and I have a kinship. Like, we're both queer Latino men, and that means a lot to me, right? Like, I could not vote this person out. Like, we had a very special bond that I don't think I could get anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
In that point, especially, like, it meant a lot to me. Like, Jorge is someone who I genuinely like. My first language is Spanish. Being able to speak Spanish with someone just about dumb shit made me feel so comfortable about who I am. The first time that I played, I was the only person of color in my tribe, and everyone was great. And also, sometimes I felt like I had to censor parts of myself, right? Like part of my identity as a Mexican man, as an immigrant, and stuff like that. Because I didn't know any of them, right? So I was like, I don't know how people are gonna take if I suddenly like say something in Spanish, right? And having someone with me who I could just like say like an idiom in Spanish and stuff like that, or like if I didn't remember like a word in English, she would be like, "This is what it is." And I'm like, "Cool," like it just goes a little bit beyond the game for me. So I would hope that no one is thinking about like, oh, like it's a thing. Like, yeah, I wanted Jorge to win. I haven't been deceitful to anyone. Like, I love Jorge. Alicia's a fucking beast. Alicia's probably gonna come back, but I wanted to Jorge to at least make it through that one. Like, I think he needed that confidence boost. Yeah, and yeah, like if people want to make it into something, they can make it into something. I would hope not, right? Like I think it's a different experience when you have a second language and when you're like in a minority, like racially and physically and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Okay. That's really well said. Appreciate that. Unless anyone has anything left to say, I'm excited to see how this vote turns out. We're good? All right. We're going to start with you, Maya.
All right. And away the players go to the voting booth.
I can slow down.
Prod is scampering on over to the voting gazebo as well. Meanwhile, we are headed back to our regularly scheduled tea time over in the shade. So get on over there. I will get started. To answer some earlier questions, it did rain last night. I think you heard a couple of those players touch on the storm. It didn't rain for too long, but it did come down quite heavily. So they did have that little bit of trauma bonding in the rain experience. All right. So let me just get this camera turned around and we will dive on in. All right. Okay, hello. So, again, that was the new Quadi tribe we just saw, consisting of, sorry, I think a bug just hit my head. Jessica, Molly, Dylan, Maya, Meg M, and Ale. So on this tribe, we have a few tribe dynamics going. A couple different pairs appear to have formed. First up, Molly and Dylan, who appear to be a fairly strong pair. I know Dylan has always kind of viewed Molly as his number one. Molly was feeling good about Dylan. I think now that they are swapped onto this new tribe together, they are now more a solidified pair. They are looking to set themselves up well for future rounds with this vote, and they think they can accomplish that by voting Maya. They are least connected to her out of everyone in this bunch so far, and so they're kind of feeling like it's the safe vote. On the other side, we have Ale and Meg M, who were on a tribe together, did not vote with each other last tribal, and somehow instead of allowing that to divide them, they have linked back up together and are also now working as a duo. Let's see, so they have been in chats with Molly and Dylan, and they're telling them that they're going to go along with that Maya vote plan, saying, you know, we'll do this with you to show you goodwill here so that you know in future votes you can count on us, which is, you know, pretty smart, kind of like a, hey, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine situation. However, That is only one of the two plans they are considering. Sorry, bug. Because Ale is looking to the future in particular, and in his dream future scenario on this tribe, he is looking at a foursome of him and Meg, the pair, with Dylan and Jess, and looking to kind of cut Molly out. So it is possible that instead of voting with Molly, Ale and Meg M will be voting against Molly at this tribal. Speaking of Ale and Jess, they are separately wanting to work together. I think a little more under the radar with that pairing. So despite Jess not officially being in this, maybe it's a 4 for this vote, maybe it's not, of Molly, Dylan, Ale, and Meg M. She is in on the fact that that is one of the plans, is to vote Maya instead of her. Because of course there's only 6 people, sorry, let me block the wind. There's only 6 people on this tribe, so if there's a 4 plus Jess, the remaining person is Maya. Maya is between Molly and Jess, because she is, I think, also feeling the vibes that, there's only so many people it could be. Ale and Meg kind of being in a maybe obvious pair. She's kind of saying, okay, well, that narrows down my options to pretty much Jess or Molly. Let's see what else. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. Again, Molly and Dylan looking to set themselves up for the future, but if this vote doesn't go their way, it looks like they will not have done that. Because if Molly goes, Dylan might be the only one that doesn't know. Okay, sorry, I thought I heard drums stopping, which I did, but I don't think that's anything. Anyway, let me think if there's anything else. Let's see. I did think it was really funny that Dylan described losing the challenge as not losing, actually just winning with a prize of going to tribal council. I thought that was quite funny. I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe it that way before. Just scrolling up for another couple of questions that I might have missed. May, do we have a vibe on who's going, or will this be a mess? I would say, as we just heard, yes and yes. All right. Tam tabulating the votes in the distance, so we will be finding out who is eliminated next shortly. Alex, yes, that is the case, I believe. All right, let me flip you guys back around as we re-enter Tribal Council along with Cam and the votes.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. Okay, I'll get to the votes. First vote, Maya. Second vote, Jessica. Third vote, Maya. Fourth vote, Maya. Fifth vote. And the next person voted out of Can You Survive? Maya. That's enough. Please bring your torch. Maya, the tribe has spoken.
You're amazing.
Alrighty.
All right, and with that, we're just going to follow Maya out of the Tribal Council area, still on the live stream. Maya, we're just going to head up to the left in the shade. In a few moments, this will be your time to just share any thoughts, feelings that you're having with the viewers. So we'll head up maybe just a little bit farther up along here. And hopefully we'll get these players out of the area pretty shortly. All right, Maya, this is your time. Anything you want to say, share with our viewers back home?
I'm shocked. That's kind of all I have to say. I'm really shocked. I'm surprised it's unanimous. I thought at least the vets were with me, so that's surprising. Maybe Meg is actually upset with how things went in Outlast. I don't know if she's like actually upset with me. Maybe she is, and she wanted to get back at me, and she steered it. I have no idea. Yeah, I would love to know what I did wrong, because I got really good vibes from the tribe. So yeah, I guess I'm just confused and shocked. Yeah, but I'm good emotionally. Like I'm good.
Oh, good. We're so glad to hear it. And speaking of being good emotionally, what's to be proud of about your time out here? Made it deep into the morning of day 3, which is no joke, much better than I could ever do. So I just love to know if maybe there's something in particular that you're proud of about your time out here, about yourself.
It's a good question. I don't know. I guess I don't have a ton to be proud of. I have never not made merge before, so this is, I guess, new to me. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, I guess.
All good. Well, you do definitely still have the chance to make the merge. You will be heading over to No Man's Land, voted out but not yet eliminated from this game. So before we hand you off to our tribe handler, Barry, I would just love to hear the very worthy cause that you're playing for. This is your chance to shout them out to the viewers.
Yes, I'm playing for Planned Parenthood. Clearly the state of our country right now needs Planned Parenthood, and so I'm fighting for all people who need help getting their reproductive health care and all sorts of sexual health care. So Planned Parenthood is something that really needs a lot of help right now. So.
Awesome. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Maya. I'm going to let you go off with your handler, and we will see you a little later on today.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, friends. Off goes Maya. Hello again to all of you. Man, bad day to be named Maya at this back-to-back Maya eliminations. We went from 2 to 0 currently in the game. So, wow. We could see she was shocked. She gave the most scathing side eye to her fellow tribe members once she realized that it was her. If looks could kill, there would be no more new Quaddy. So anyway, all right. So with that, we are going to be setting up the next challenge very shortly. We should be back to you in about 15 minutes for the next immunity challenge. So don't go anywhere. Keep those notifications on so you know when we go live and you can jump on back in with us to the action. And reminder, if you are popping in and out throughout the day, feel free to hit up our Instagram. We have super short recaps of what's gone on so far so that you can get yourself all caught up and able to enjoy the rest of the day play out. We will see you in, again, about 10 to 15 minutes.